and welcome to another edition of the Midlands Saturday Sports Special. A look back at the week's big sporting headlines and a look ahead to the big sporting events with me, James Brackpool.
And me, Paul Burrell. Well, plenty of sporting action for you over the next hour, but first let's hear from Blues defender Jonathan Grounds, who spoke to Blues TV about his new contract extension.
John, congratulations on your new deal. How does it feel to extend your time at the club?
Feels brilliant. Obviously trying to push on from last year. Came in last year, felt I did quite well. And as the manager said, I think a few of the deals that he's given out recently are for performances that we put in last year. So obviously he thinks I've done quite well and deserve an extension.
Well, you are the fourth extension, aren't you, after Caddis, Clayton Donaldson and Damari Gray. Were those players sort of extending their contracts, was that a big thing for you?
Yeah, it was. Obviously holding on to the players that we'd had bids for was massive, but then we had a good core of players who played a lot of games last year, so keeping hold of those lads and keeping the group together was important as well.
And obviously you mentioned the core, you played 45 league games last year. How important is it for you to, when you come to a new club, settle down and be able to, stamp your authority onto the team?
It was important for me to try and play as much as I could, really. I came in and probably didn't start as well as I thought I would. Took me a little bit of time to get myself going, but playing that amount of games is always a good thing for me personally. Was that something to do with perhaps the position? Obviously you can play centre half, but obviously you've become a full-time left back, haven't you? I don't think it was positionally. I played a lot there the 2 seasons before that. I just think it was maybe the level stepping up. I'd played in the Championship before, but you sort of get used to the level you're at and then you have to kick on again. And maybe that's what it took me to do after sort of 5 or 10 games or something. But I bet you still feel there's plenty of improvement though, isn't there? Obviously looking ahead to next year. Yeah, definitely. We've obviously got a good pre-season now. We've had 3 or 4 weeks behind us, so the time's now really to start kicking on and looking forward to that first game of the season. We talk about a core, and obviously the core did very well last year, didn't they? Obviously building on from what Gary Rowett did when he came in. How do you think you're going to build on that next season? I think the performances we put in as a group were really good. Obviously the manager's speaking about bringing 1 or 2 players in and hopefully that can give us the little boost that we need.
So, as you heard there, Jonathan Grounds has signed a contract extension that will keep him at St Andrews until June 2017. Grounds has scored twice in 47 appearances for the Blues since joining last summer from Oldham. And the Blues have also signed Dutch midfielder Michael Kieftenbeld from Groningen on a 3-year contract for an undisclosed fee. Birmingham City have reportedly triggered a release clause of around £180,000. City have also signed Arsenal midfielder John Terrell on a season-long loan, whilst Andrew Shinnie has penned a 2-year contract extension. Spanish-born Terrell, aged 20, began his youth career at Barcelona before moving to the Gunners in 2011 and spent last season on loan at Brentford. So Blues starting to do their business, chaps, getting the players in. It's what they needed, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the good news is as well, Gary Rowett has actually pledged the future of Timmy Gray, as we know, Clayton Donaldson, and the latest one, as you just said, is Andy Shinnie. It's getting the nucleus of the team. Paul Caddis is staying as well. Obviously, a great captain, Paul, and he's been brilliant for Blues. But that Jonathan Grounds one, he's not a first choice for Blues, but he's a very important member of the squad. He can play at left back. He's very tall. He's brilliant at set pieces. He can play covering for Paul Robinson or Jonathan Spector, Morrison, of course. Good team player. Good news, good business by Gary Rowett.
Viewers also may have noticed that we've got former Birmingham Mail writer Ian Johnson on the sofa with us. Ian, thank you for coming in. Lovely to get you back in.
That's a pleasure.
Yeah. Do you think it's realistic for Blues fans to expect a top 6 push this season?
Yes, I do. I think one of the significant factors which you haven't mentioned is that there's been 4 or 5 players currently on the staff who signed extensions to their contract. So Gary Rowett is obviously keen to keep them and keep them for a fairly long time, and that means he's going to have a balanced, experienced side together right from the start, and the way they finished last season augurs very well indeed. And Blues fans should look forward to certainly a good start to the season and hopefully a top 6 finish.
Well, that was the big problem last year, Ian, wasn't it? By the time we got to September, October, things were looking, Blues almost needed snookers, didn't they? And something had to be done. And it was, and Gary Rowett came in and turned it round, but now the pressure will be on Gary.
I was going to say, do you think that perhaps by setting his own benchmark at in last season with his performances, you know, he's almost made a rod for his own back, hasn't he?
Possibly, but he'll love that challenge. He'll love that challenge.
I don't think it's so much a rod for his own back. I think he'll have the confidence of taking Birmingham City from second, third, fourth bottom, I can't remember where they were, facing relegation, and took them to within a short step from the playoff places. That was a magnificent effort, and he can build on that, and he'll have the confidence to grow.
Absolutely.
And the great thing about the Championship, James, is the fact that no one really totally runs away with it. It's such an equal division, and you just got to try and put 3 or 4 little clusters of results together, and you are going to lose 2 or 3, but you've got to have that bounce back ability and to really, step up to the plate, and Blues have the squad to do that.
The Blues fans will be looking forward to a good season this year. West Bromwich Albion have signed Welsh international James Chester for £8 million. Chester moves from Hull City after making 156 league appearances for the Tigers. The 26-year-old has signed a 4-year deal at the Hawthorns. Meanwhile, Marseille have beaten Albion to the signing of free agent Abu Diaby after he was released by Arsenal at the end of last season. Diaby rejected an offer from West Brom and has returned to League One 9 years after leaving Auxerre. The midfielder made 182 appearances for Arsenal since 2006, but had been plagued by injuries during his time at the club. And Saido Berahino continues to be linked with a move away from Albion, with Tottenham Hotspur reportedly keen to link the young striker with Harry Kane at White Hart Lane. Perhaps a lucky escape for Albion in not getting Diaby with all his injuries considered.
You've got to feel sorry for that player. I mean, he was brought in as the natural successor to Patrick Vieira at the Arsenal, and he had all the attributes: the pace, the power, the footballing nous. Such bad luck, and having seen it at close hand working down there, I wish him nothing but good luck. He's a good human being, much loved down there, and he deserves a break, and I hope he plays 40 games for the French this year.
Ian, do you think Diaby would have been a good signing for Albion?
He's one of those players who'd be a good signing for anybody.
A fit Diaby,
but he's got to be fit, and that is a burning question. So, in a way, perhaps it might be a good thing that he's not going to the Albion.
And maybe he needs a complete change of scenery and a new start.
Is £8 million for James Chester too much?
Well, that's a good question. And we talked about Fabian Delph the other week about £8 million. No disrespect to James Chester, and I've seen him close hand. He's a very good player. But there's an imbalance somewhere. So Delph, a full international, England international, Villa captain, £8 million. Chester, £8 million. There's something not quite right there.
I think it's not based on their ability, is it? It's based on the agents able to organise contracts and get out clauses and all that sort of thing. Nothing to do with their ability. I mean, in terms of if they're both worth £8 million, then there's something definitely wrong. But Delph should never have gone for that sort of money.
And it's important for Albion to keep Saido Berahino, obviously. I thought we'd heard the end of all this. I thought Berahino had committed his future to West Brom, but you know, the talks resurfaced again.
I think he probably has for the time being, but while the transfer window goes on till the 31st of August, this will never go away. And that's why I actually think that the transfer window, well, I actually think it should be scrapped anyway. But if it isn't, then June and July, and at the end of July, today should be the end, this weekend should be the end of the transfer window for me. Then teams can get their players together and know this is it. You can start the season off on the 8th of August and then lose your best player on the 30th of August. And you're thinking, well, has he been training properly for me? Did he know he was going to have that move in a couple of weeks' time? I just think there's a lot of uncertainty, and I don't like it, to be honest with you.
Ian, do you think that Berahino's ready for a move to a club like Tottenham?
It's ever so difficult to know. I mean, you're only ready when you get there and do it, effectively. But he's got a lot of talent, he's got a lot of ability, and I would say, yeah, go, by all means. Try it out. Whether Tottenham's the right sort of club to go to is another matter. But Tony Pulis, you see, I mean, I've got a lot of respect for him, and the Albion fans overall seem to me to be in a bit of a no man's land with things as they are at the moment. I mean, 9 players have gone, and some have come in and more perhaps to come in. And that's going to be, as far as the dressing room is concerned, a pretty unsettled area for a length of time. But even with Pulis's exceptional ability to get teams to play together, then that will take time. So maybe Albion are not going to get off to the best of starts.
Moving on to Aston Villa now. They've been busy over the past week, making Spanish defender Jose Angel Crespo their 7th signing of the summer. Crespo comes from Cordoba, where he made 29 appearances during the 2014-15 season and joins Villa Park for an undisclosed fee. Villa have also acted swiftly to replace striker Christian Benteke by signing Ghanaian forward Jordan Ayew. Ayew arrives from Lorient in France's League One and has signed a 5-year contract for an undisclosed fee. Aston Villa are also close to securing the signing of Blackburn Rovers striker Rudy Gestede, with the forward set to have a medical after a £6 million fee has been agreed.
Well, at least they told us how much that one was.
Yes, it's nice of them, isn't it? Aston Villa, obviously, they've moved quickly to replace Benteke, which they had to, I suppose. Jordan Ayew, Rudy Gestede, Emmanuel Adebayor as well is in there. Are they going to be able to do the job? Are they going to be able to keep Villa in the Premier League?
Dave Paulson, the announcer. I mean, his work cut out, old Paulson, I can tell you.
I'm sure he's paid enough money to do that well. But I mean, you know,
You won't struggle as much as you do.
That's true. That is true.
They've dipped heavily in the French market, Aston Villa. They've gone down the Newcastle road. And for me, it's surprising that Tim Sherwood's done that. I don't know about you.
I think Tim Sherwood is doing what is not expected of him. I mean, he's a man of strong character, and he's looking for. He seems to have been looking at players who would come in and do a job. But the players that he's bringing in, Adebayor and they're talking about Berbatov as well.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I can't see that happening really.
No.
I mean, I can't see it working if they do that.
Wages-wise alone,
I think
yeah.
Tim Sherwood is walking a tightrope, and it's a different tactic to what he how he saved the club from relegation, and so where he's going to go, I just don't know.
Well, the thing is with Sherwood, I wish him luck because he's been put into a strange situation. He had no choice but to sell Delph and Benteke. He wouldn't have wanted to sell either of those, that's for sure. And he has a situation whereby he's going back to his former clubs and players that he knows, like the two from Tottenham, talking Berbatov and Adebayor, and then also back to Blackburn Rovers. And he's obviously got some kind of French contact that we're not privy to. So it's not just him, but he's actually putting his own stamp on the season, and sink or swim, it'll be Sherwood's team. And why not? You know, he's got that money to spend. I don't particularly agree with just getting the checkbook out, but Villa fans will love it if they've got 3 or 4 new heroes by the time September, October comes around.
And in one word, do we think Aston Villa have got enough to stay in the Premier League this season?
We can't answer that question at the moment because I certainly haven't.
It's not one word, Paul.
No. If you'd have asked me that question 2 weeks ago, I would have said no.
No?
But let's see what these players are like.
Ian?
It's too difficult to know at this stage. What's got to happen is that a lot of players have got to come good.
It's difficult.
In the toughest league in the world.
I was talking to Neil Rioch about this the other day, and he said what he's worried about is that the spine of the team, from goalkeeper to Vlaar to Delph to Benteke, has gone. And that takes some replacement.
It's difficult keeping you two down to one word, but thanks, guys. Skipping over the rest of the headlines, Burton Albion have signed Wolves winger Zeli Ismail on loan until January. This will be Ismail's second stint with the Brewers, having made 15 league appearances in the 2013-14 season. Wolves have also let winger Michael Jacobs leave permanently to Wigan Athletic. Jacobs made only 12 league appearances for the Wanderers last season and has moved for an undisclosed fee. At Walsall, manager Dean Smith has praised his players following a 2-0 loss to West Bromwich Albion during the week. The Saddlers were largely on top throughout the game but failed to take their chances, with last season's star striker Tom Bradshaw missing a penalty. Berahino and Idei scored the goals for West Bromwich Albion. And moving on to cricket, Warwickshire Director of Cricket Dougie Brown labelled his side's performance in their one-day cup defeat to Essex as unacceptable. The Bears lost by 152 runs at Chelmsford and currently sit bottom of their group after 3 matches. The Bears are able to look ahead to a home fixture against Essex in the quarter-finals of their NatWest T20 Blast, where the fixture is a repeat of last season's quarter-final, in which the Bears triumphed by 19 runs and went on to win the tournament at a packed Edgbaston. So that's all for part 1. Join us in part 2, where I'll be grilling Paul and Ian once more in our weekly quiz. Join us then. Welcome back. You're watching the Midlands Saturday Special with Paul Burrell, Ian Johnson and me, James Brackpool. Now, last night saw the premiere of Saddlers TV, a joint enterprise between Big Centre TV and Walsall Football Club, where half an hour each month is dedicated to all things Walsall. Host Dale Moon pulled out all the stops for the first episode, calling in manager Dean Smith and captain Adam Chambers. Dale began by asking the Ginger Mourinho just how excited he is for the new season.
No, really looking forward to it. We've had a decent pre-season so far, very few injuries, which is always pleasing, and I'm just hopeful now that I can come to August the 8th with a fully fit squad to choose from. We've had some really good games, tough opposition, and the lads have worked really hard, so really looking forward to it now.
At this point in the season, as you're approaching the new league campaign, is promotion always the aim?
Oh yeah, well, I think you're silly if you don't. That should be every professional's ambition, and our aim this season is to finish first. And I think we've got enough in the dressing room to go and do that. There's things we need to improve on from last season. The goal tally being one, turning draws into wins. But we've also spoke about becoming a more entertaining team and a more exciting team to watch, and hopefully we can do that, and that will push us up the league and have us competing with some of the bigger teams in the league.
Like you say, we've had some very testing friendlies. You think back to the Wolves one behind closed doors, Aston Villa down here as well, and West Bromwich Albion. How do you think the boys have coped with that challenge? We've
coped really well, because in none of the teams, in none of the games that we've played, I've picked a team what I think is going to start this season. So it's the good part about it is in all them games when we've mixed the teams around and put younger players on, none of them have looked out of place. So they're all challenging for the first team positions at the moment, and that's a pleasing aspect for me.
Adam, I won't mention how many pre-seasons you've had down the years, but from a player's point of view, how have you found the preparations for the new season this year?
Yeah, it's been very good. All the lads came back first day looking very fit and sharp. We had a closed season programme that we got given from John Whitney. Looks like all the lads have followed that to the T, and so they come back just raring to go. Obviously, as the years go by, pre-seasons change and see a bit more technology. A lot more obviously heart rate belts and GPRS to track what you're doing and how far you're running and how hard you're working. So things have changed quite a bit, but this year we've been looking really good, and like I say, lads are looking fit and strong.
How much of that is down to what the players do outside of the football club during those weeks off during the off season?
Yeah, again, like days gone by, you didn't really have to do too much. You was expected to come back, and pre-season was to get you fit. Over the last few years, it's a case of you need to come back raring to go, and then you can get the ball out a lot sooner. And
great to hear from Dean and Adam there. Dean sounding very positive about the fact that he's got all his players fit during pre-season. Ian, you might have noticed, during your years working for the Mail and seeing how footballers prepare for the new season, have you seen a massive shift in that preparation?
Oh yes, without question. I was on Nottingham Forest's books as a kid, and I used to train over at Nottingham every Tuesday and Thursday, and I used to go over from Leicester, and all we do is run around the track and then kick a ball around in the car park for half an hour, and that was learning how to play professional football with Nottingham Forest. today it's a little. And of course, it was quite a long time ago,
Yeah.
I've got to admit. But yes, no, it's fantastic. I mean, the big rise that I've seen in fitness is in the rugby world. As soon as rugby turned professional, well, the game changed massively. And when it's a slower process in football, it's just the same.
Well,
Much faster, more physical. You've got to be clever. You've got to touch. Oh, dear me, it's different game altogether.
The other day on Extra Time, when Gary James and myself were talking to former Blues captain Ian Clarkson, he said when Lou Macari was the manager, pre-season consisted of, we're training at the Villa Leisure Centre today, so they'd run from St Andrews 3 miles to the Villa Leisure Centre, and he hadn't booked the leisure centre at all. When he got there, he said, we can't get in. Okay, we'll run back to St Andrews. And the players were beside themselves, and that was it.
How things have changed.
I think from Walsall's point of view, Dean Smith said in his interview there that he's looking forward to a season of exciting football and speculation. And I understand that his formation has been, or he's been experimenting with 3-5-2. Well, if that is the case, then Walsall fans can expect some interesting football.
A lot of goals.
He's gone out there to win games.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, chaps, time for the quiz. Christian Benteke's big £32.5 million move to Liverpool. Yeah.
One question, that's
one for Paul. It's got me thinking about big transfer fees in Midlands clubs, and I've got a list of 10 British record-breaking transfer fees that involved Midlands clubs. Now, I'll stipulate that these deals were record-breaking at their time, obviously. Yeah. And I want to see how many both of you combined can get. You've got some help this week, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, throw me your best.
Well, let me tell you this, right from the start. I wrote a book on Aston Villa, the history of Aston Villa. And it came out the year that Villa won the league. So we sold a few copies, it was great. But I seem to remember writing in there that there was a fella called Willie Grove, I think, was signed by Villa from Albion for £100.
What a start that is. That's number one. That's number one on the list. 1893.
Yeah.
That, Ian.
Yes.
Jono was his agent.
What? You got something to live up to now, Paul.
Well, the big one, of course, was, in fact, it involved Ian Johnson, because when he was the editor of the Sports Argus, he led with this unbelievable headline, "Trevor must go." And all the Blues fans picked up on it, and he was public enemy number one, even more so than he is now. And it was an amazing thing, and it was another probably about 5 years until he did go, wasn't it? Ian? And he went to Brian Clough, took him and made him the first £1 million player ever. And there's that. And another big one was Steve Daly from Wolves to Manchester City for £1.5 million. And even Steve Daly, I get a chance to work with him every now and again. He says how they paid that for me, I'll never know.
Both in 1979.
Were they really?
Steve Daly was 1.45.
Yeah. And I may be wrong on this one, Ian and James, but I'm thinking Ian Wallace from Coventry City moved to Norwich for something over $1 million.
That's not on my list, Paul.
Okay.
We do have another 1979 one though, which
Andy
might
Gray?
help. Yeah.
Andy Gray, from Villa to Wolves.
And the year after that, he scored the only goal in the League Cup final.
1.469 million, Andy Gray. You're on 4 at the moment.
He
chap.
was worth it. So was Trevor.
Yeah, you're doing very well. You got 4 out of 10.
Dwight York.
Nope.
No.
Ryan Robson.
I tell you what, we get this man in every week. How much, Ian?
Oh, I don't remember.
No, 1981.
Into Manchester United.
Absolutely.
Something like
1.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're halfway there.
Trevor Ford, being a Sunderland fan,
He's got another one.
He moved from Villa to Sunderland, and we were so thrilled to get somebody of that calibre.
What about
£50,000 for Trevor Ford?
Alan Evans when he moved
No.
from Liverpool to Villa for 100,000 from that? Even Alan Clark when he left Walsall and went to Leicester. No.
You're on 6 at the moment. Okay. Ian got Trevor Ford right, Villa to Sunderland.
Are there any modern day ones?
In 1950. The most recent is 1991, concerning Midlands clubs and British record-breaking transfer deal. 1991.
Would that be some one that moved abroad?
It would be. Bob Latchford is another one.
Yeah, Howard Kendall came in.
£350,000 in
1974.
bang on.
Yeah.
So you're on 7.
I'm just thinking of this one in 91.
You're doing very well, chap.
James is talking about someone that went abroad.
Oh,
I can see the
I know.
the mice
Countless.
working.
David Platt went to Bari.
Yeah.
Hey. So,
8 out of 10.
How many has he got?
I've got about 3.
I don't know, 1 or 2. You can take the credit here. Yeah, David Platt's Villa to Bari in 91 for £5.5 million. So that leaves you with 2 to get, I believe.
Which decades?
We're talking. When are we talking here? 1979 again, before Trevor Francis, and 1938, which I'll be very impressed if you manage to get.
1938.
What was happening in 1938? Paul?
38.
No?
Albion.
No.
Not an Albion.
No. I'll give you the club, Wolves.
Bryn Jones. Wolves.
Off the bat, straight off the bat, Bryn Jones, £14,500.
Can't remember where he went to though.
The mighty Gunners, Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bryn Jones from Wolves to Arsenal for £14,500.
Laurie Cunningham.
Nope. Leaves you on 9 out of 10 with roughly a minute remaining in the. This will be the first time you've got 10, albeit aided.
Cyril Regis.
Nope. 1979, before Trevor Francis. Ian's furiously thinking away. Eternal glory awaits should you get the 10.
Name the club.
Name the club.
Bob Latchford. Have we done that?
No,
We've done Bob Latchford. Albion were involved.
Someone that Albion signed.
Albion.
You get in there. Came from your neck of the woods. Not quite Sunderland. You see the moment of realisation. £515,000, this man.
From Newcastle.
No.
No.
No. I'm going to have to give it you.
Willie Johnston.
No.
No.
I feel like you've got it, Ian. I feel like you're almost there.
You ran out of time.
Wasn't Asa Hartford?
No. David Mills.
Oh, winger.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah. I wouldn't have
Middlesbrough.
got that, Ian, would you?
Yes, of course it
Of
would.
course you would.
Middlesbrough to Albion for £500,000.
Good
Chaps,
quiz.
9 out of 10.
Good quiz.
Next week, we'll have another one. But
And
well done.
And we'll set a question.
Yeah, but that's it for part 2. Join us in part 3 where we'll be hearing from Sam Eggington after he became the British welterweight champion.
Welcome back to the Midlands Saturday special. We've got Jono in the studio, so we have to talk about boxing. Well, James went along to Sam Eggington's house. Let's see what happened.
Has the belt left your side?
No, it's
Since,
stuck up there.
Since
And
you got
never
it?
moved from there. We took it around. Some people have saw it, took pictures. So it's always out on show.
Do you enjoy looking at it just every now and
it
then?
is a bit mad when you have a look up, and because the people you see holding it, you see them on the internet, and you see people holding it, and the fact that I've got one as well is a bit crazy.
It must feel very good. Was there ever any doubt on your side that you'd win it?
The fight, I never had any doubt that I'd win the fight. I always thought I could win the fight quite, but just not as comfortable as I did.
Yeah.
Like I said in the interview after the fight, I thought I won all the rounds by the first, even they gave me the first. So, and I thought I was winning the rounds quite comfortable. I didn't have to like turn it up or push myself to win any rounds. I was just winning the rounds quite comfortable.
Was Glenn difficult at all?
Not really.
No.
No, he come in straight forward. He come in with his like at the start of every round. You knew what he was going to do. If you watch it back, at the start of every round, he come out with a big combination of some sort, and nothing was really, But like you say, it weren't difficult as such. It weren't difficult at all, really.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really like, but no, it was quite a straightforward fight.
Was he powerful?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Like I thought,
like a dedicated
like people was talking about him like he was powerful, and obviously we saw in the prize fight in Wolverhampton a few years ago. he knocked Stephen Pearce out. But I don't know if it was. I don't know what he's done different, but to me personally, I didn't think he could hit at all.
No. You took the hardest he could give.
Yeah, he caught me with some flush right hands, but nothing that I thought I don't want to beat one of them again. It was just not.
And did you feel sharper in the fight? Because I know you did a few things different in your training camp before.
I felt like the rounds were quite comfortable. I felt like I could have done the rounds, and the rounds that I did do, as soon as I got out, I knew I could have done more in the earlier rounds. It's like when I got out in the 9th, I knew in the 6th, 7th and 8th I could have done much more. So I felt comfortable.
Is the victory sort of more satisfying considering that there was a bit of friction between you before the
there's
fight?
No friction on my side. I don't take anything, like, no matter who I fight, I've never got a problem with anyone. I'm not like, I don't see why you would put yourself through the pressure, because he's made himself look an idiot before the fight and he's got the pressure to win it now, and he didn't. So
and he was getting in your face, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so he just built his own pressure up, and you could see him before the fight in the ring. He was banging his gloves together, biting down his gum shield. And
but what do you think when you see that? Does it wind you up a bit? Do you think, I'm going to do it?
It doesn't wind it. Like you say, it's a bit more satisfying, but it doesn't get to me. It doesn't wind me up. It doesn't make me think maybe this one is tougher than the rest, because they all do it.
Yeah.
So
how was the support?
Support was brilliant.
Yeah.
I took over 200. I think I took 240 or 250 there, and that's in Manchester. So the last time I went there for Dental Rousseau, we took 120. So it's doubling and more.
Yeah.
So.
And you could really hear it when you're in the ring.
Yeah, it was like, it's not only that, but I feel like I've boxed in Manchester a few times, and like the Manchester crowd are quite good anyway.
Yeah.
I was buzzing with it all, to be fair.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Glenn after the fight?
No. His trainer and that did come in. The changing room, and they said well done and all this. Glenn didn't come in.
No. What are your plans moving forward now? I know there's talk on Twitter of possibly a fight with Frankie Gavin.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No.
From what I've saw on the internet, his next fight's at 140 pounds, which is light welter. I've never met light welter. I wouldn't make 10 stone 4.
Yeah.
So at the moment I can't see it happening. He thinks it's a step back, which I suppose you can understand considering the bouts that I've won are the ones he's vacated. But maybe if he doesn't like it down at light welter and he does come back up, it could happen. But at the moment I don't see it happening. It's definitely not going to happen in October.
He was there to support you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did come in the change room after as well. Yeah. Like I say, I've got no problem with Frankie Gavin, and I don't think he's got a problem with me. But people want to see the fight, and at the moment it's not to his liking, because he wants to try light welter.
Yeah.
Can't blame him.
Have you got ambitions at world title level?
I never had ambitions at British level, to be fair, so I'm not going to say no, because if I'd have said no when I turned over, I'd be lying now. So I don't know, we'll see.
Carl Froch has said that he's really excited about your future. Does that sort of give you an added belief when someone like that?
It's a massive compliment, obviously, because people compare me to Carl Froch.
Yeah.
But it's good, obviously. I mean, anyone of his stature can talk well about you. It's always good.
Great to hear from Sam there. Seeming very relaxed in his own home, Ian. He's had his little kids running around. We saw one of them up on his lap. He's a real family man, isn't he?
Yes, he's got 2 boys and he loves them to bits. He goes and has a fight, and whereas most boxers will win as he does and then go out and enjoy themselves, even if it's just having a chat and a coke. But he doesn't. He goes straight home because he just wants to be back with his kids. And
he mentioned that they had the kids before the boxing came along, so there was no sort of feeling of having to readjust when the boxing started, as it were. Let's move on to his fight against Glenn Foot.
At his house is to find room for all his metal.
And I think he's going to have to find more room in the future.
Well.
He dominated Glenn Foot, didn't he?
Oh yes, it was very one-sided. But it was Eggington's ability with his jab and his sheer strength and his height. He just kept putting it out and putting it out, and the lad just couldn't get close enough to him. And it was one-sided. it was easy for him, really.
Sam strikes me as the sort of welterweight to have more power than the average fighter. He's got that viciousness in him, which John Pegg mentioned when we spoke to him before the fight, which is key, I think, in being able to reach the top.
Oh, absolutely. And this is probably where you would find fault with Frankie Gavin at the moment. He doesn't have that same sort of power. But with Sam, I mean, he's 21. You know, some boxers have just had 3 or 4 fights at that time. And he's learned so much, so quickly, and he's developed brilliantly. But through it all, he's maintained a level of common sense and a good attitude to everything. Trains hard. John Pegg can't praise him enough.
And speaking to him there, you know, I tried to push him on the fact that Glenn Foote was at least trying to be very provoking towards Sam Eggington, but Sam just doesn't take any notice of it, you know.
He hasn't done it in any of his fights.
No.
That's his nature.
Fights his own fight.
Yeah, he just does what he wants to do and does it to the best of his ability. And so far, it's meant that he's won every proper fight. He's lost the 2 prize fighter ones, but the 2. But looking ahead now, Sam has got so much to look forward to, and become very big in Birmingham. And obviously the big fight is Frankie Gavin. And at the moment, that's a possibility, but it's going to be further down the line. I think Frankie would take it now, but Sam needs. He hasn't fought 12 rounds yet, so he needs to get some good rounds under his belt and
by virtue of his own ability, isn't it? Really, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
How far can he go? I mean, because James was saying, have you got any world aspirations? And he joked, I didn't even have British aspirations.
That's correct. That's an attitude thing. How far he can go will be his ability, and at the moment he's still learning. So the answer to your question is a long way.
Yeah.
But how far that's going to be is in the lap of the gods.
And if you were a betting man, Ian, Frankie versus Sam, who would you be?
Oh, that's cruel.
And they're both watching, by the way.
I'm not going to answer that.
No, I won't push you for an answer.
What's more important? I mean, this weekend you've got Luke Campbell and Tommy
Coyle.
Sorry?
Coyle.
Yeah. Fighting up in Hull, and they built that fight up. The last time we had, and there's going to be a huge crowd there, and the last time we had 2 Birmingham lads fighting was Wayne Elcock and Matthew Macklin for the middleweight title. And that was at the Aston Villa Leisure Centre, holds 2,500, as opposed to the NIA or the NEC, whatever, all 10,000, 12,000. So this is what they're going to do with Frankie and with Sam. They're going to build them up. They'll put them both on the same show in October probably, and then take it from there.
And moving away from Sam now, Tommy Langford obviously won his fight in Dublin. We haven't had you in since then. You've spoken to Tommy. Where's he planning to move now? What are his thoughts?
Tommy knows. He's proved to himself now that he's got the ability. Not that it needed it, but it builds your confidence, you know, and the way you go about things. And Tommy knows there are more titles there for him. But again, he's still learning as well. So you can't really say, well, he'll win this, he'll win that, he'll fight for a world title. I think he will fight for a world title. I think he's got the ability.
And we were speaking about it before. I know Paul asked you, where does Frankie Gavin go from here?
He's taken a step forward, a huge step forward. He's left his trainer, Tom Cheney, who they've been together all during his amateur career, since he was, I think, 12 or 13.
Was that a natural thing to happen, do you think?
I think it was. When he lost to Kell Brook dramatically, it was a poor performance. It was an awful result, poor performance. And when I look back at the previous 2 or 3 fights, Frankie still wasn't boxing very well. So what he needed was a totally different professional approach to get some more zip into his stuff. James and I went to saw him train in the Birmingham shopping centre before the Kelbrook fight, and he looked magnificent. I thought if he boxes like that, he's got a chance. He left it all in the gym, and he needs somebody to take him that next step up in the professional ranks. He's gone to Max McCracken, Robert's brother. Max McCracken didn't have much of a career himself, but he's got a very good reputation as a trainer. He's also got the Yaffe brothers, and I've already spoken to Frankie, and he's delighted with the move, and he's delighted the way things are working out, because he's still retained his friendship with Tom Cheney, which is nice, and now he's training at Paddy Lynch's gym in Kids Green.
Do you remember earlier in Frankie's career when they packed him off to Manchester to get him away from Birmingham and the scenario of his life? He needed a change of scenery then. Is this the change of scenery in a different aspect that could work for him as well?
Yes, that's sort of almost in reverse. He went up to Manchester because they felt that he was too sort of mollycoddled here in Birmingham. There was too many temptations and so on and so forth. So they wanted to get him up to Manchester and out of the way. But then the gym work was fine. But it's when he went back to his digs at night time, he got nothing to do.
Yeah.
He got PlayStation or whatever. And that's all he had, and he got bored, and eventually it just wasn't right for him.
Stir crazy.
And Ian, being familiar as you are with the West Midlands boxing scene, have you got your eye on any youngsters that are training, fighting well, that might be coming up through the ranks?
Yes, there's two lads. I've already mentioned the one. There's the Khalid, Yaffe brothers. Khalid, I've already mentioned. His younger brother, Gamal, is a similar type of fighter. When the two, there's only a couple of years difference. When they were amateurs and they sparred together, Gamal was absolutely determined to prove that he's better than his brother. So
that's natural, though, isn't it?
They knocked 7 bells out of each other.
Yeah.
But they had to stop him.
Yeah.
And but he's had, I can't remember now, whether 5, 6 fights, something like that. And he's won them all, and he's won them all impressively. The other lad, Joe Costello. He's very similar. He's the son of John Costello, who's started promoting, but he's done well as a trainer and a coach. So he's brought his son on, and he too is looking the part. He's I can't remember, they call Sam Eggington the Savage now, don't they?
Yes, yeah, Sam the Savage Eggington.
That's where that came from.
Yeah.
But they'll think of something very similar for this young lad Costello. Well worth looking forward to.
Thank you, Ian. 2 fighters to keep your eyes on. Now let's close on the big national headlines over the past week. Obviously, we've had the Ashes, the third test going on this week, England on top. At the point of recording, we must stress that England look like they're going to take a 2-1 series lead. And presuming that's the case, the Aussies really don't like Edgbaston, do they?
No, we love it though. I was there on Wednesday. I remember being there in 1981 when Ian Botham took 5 wickets for one run in Botham's Ashes. I mean, still the best sporting occasion I've ever had the privilege of being part of. But it was brilliant on Wednesday because it's the only time, in my opinion, that Blues and Villa fans unite for the same cause. And boy, the Blues and Villa fans in that stand really gave Mitchell so many problems, and got really behind Jimmy Anderson and Steve Finn. It was great.
And do we think we're going to bring the little urn back to England? Are we going
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's be positive about it.
Utmost confidence there, Johnny.
We can get the Aussies on the run.
Never ever take it for granted against
No, I'm not
us.
saying anything for granted. I just know we're better than they are. That's
There you go.
Fantastic.
That's the man that thinks that Sunderland are better than Newcastle.
He might be proved right this season, we don't know. A UK athletics review into Mo Farah's high-performance training system has found no evidence of impropriety. That's hard enough for me to say. Good news for Mo, obviously, that he's been so far declared is clear. He'll be glad to start getting this off his back because he's fed up of talking about it, isn't he?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I think when I say us lot, I mean newspapers have gone over the top with it. They really have. It's a serious business, of course it is, and it's got to be reported and so on. But they've hounded everything They've got every cough out of it that they possibly can, and I think they've gone too far.
Absolutely. Moving on, back on to some more boxing now. World heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko says Britain's Anthony Joshua is the most promising boxer that he has seen in 25 years. Joshua is undefeated in 13 professional bouts, with all of these bouts ending within 3 rounds. And Ian, I know you said before that you think Anthony Joshua is one of the best prospects that you've ever seen as well.
Correct. I mean, you can't say anything more than he is the best. He's just got everything, and until somebody actually punches him, I mean, nobody's actually punched him. Never mind hit him hard.
Well, it's getting close enough to him to be able to punch him, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a big step from 3 rounds, though, isn't it? Up to.
Oh, of course it is. Absolutely. So you know, it's an imponderable at the moment as to how far he's going to go, but he's undoubtedly the best.
Do you think perhaps that Eddie Hearn's tempted to rush him into a world title fight early? You know, no.
No. He's packing places out now, so you know he doesn't need to have a world title at the end of it to be able to continue to pack places out, stadiums out. He's so popular.
And there's talk, obviously, of the fight with Dylan White. Dylan beat Joshua now famously in the amateurs. Not that that will count for anything when they meet again. What would your thoughts be on that contest?
Well, I'm all for it. Because those are the sort of things that does get the boxing public wound up a little bit, and so they'll say, well, you know, you never know, he might be able to do it again, and so, but the other fights when he goes into them say, well, he's only going to be one winner, so there is that element to it, so I'd be all for it, and plus the fact he would want to get it off his record anyway, just to say, you might have beaten me as amateur, but no way you're going to beat me as a pro.
Absolutely. Dame Sarah Storey has won her 21st world title in the Paracycling Road World Championships. The Briton finished more than 2 minutes ahead of Poland's Anna Hochowska in Notwil, Switzerland. The 37-year-old is targeting further success at next year's Games in Rio de Janeiro. And teenager Kim Kuk-hyang paid tribute to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un after winning her country's first ever World Aquatics Championships gold medal. The 16-year-old diver won in the women's individual 10-metre platform final with China's Ren Qian 14 second. She said, "It gives me great pleasure to meet the expectations of my government and our great leader," Kuk-hyang said. And on that note, it's time. We've run out of time. Jono, thank you very much for joining us on the sofa again. Paul.
Does Dame Sarah Storey have a basket on the front of her bike? I can just imagine a dame. It just conjures up that picture.
More than likely, Paul. We'll try and find out. But Paul, thank you for joining me on the sofa as ever. That's it for this week's Midlands Saturday Sports Special. Wherever you are, have a good weekend. Take care.